Hello and welcome to Voicetv Nigeria. My name is Grant and I'm your host of the program, The Logic. Please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button to notify you of our future episode. Once again, you're welcome. The Logic is a program that brings to bear topical issues that affect government policies with balanced views. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe and the bell button to notify you of our future episode. I'm not alone today on this journey. I'm together with my guest, Barrister Bumi. Before we proceed, please don't forget to send in your comment and we'll pick it up from there. Barrister Bumi is a legal practitioner, legislative draftsman, and child education advocate with an unwavering interest in public policy. A graduate of the University of Benin, Olumi is also an alumni of the Transparency International School of Integrity. He's an advocate for child education. He's the convener of the Policy Roundtable, a results-oriented NGO that leads productive conversations on governance, reforms, policies, and issues in the polity. So once again, Barrister Bumi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let's delve into the discourse. For the man that sells pap down the street, who's a legislative draftsman? Let's get it straight.
For every country that practices a democratic system of government, you have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Now, it's not a must in our own constitution as a client that every legislator must be a lawyer. And that presupposes that we have doctors as senators, we have engineers as senators, we have random persons, quote and unquote, as legislators in the lower house. They are not trained, most of them that is, are not trained to write or develop policy documents and bills, as it were. You would need the services of somebody that is trained in writing legal documents, bills, and motions. They are not just random documents. There's the format, there's the language, there's the stylistic that is involved in legal writing or legislative drafting. So every legislator would have a lawyer that can write. And they can write bills and motions because they are not versed in same. So, and that is most of the time they are called legislative draftsmen, they're called legislative aides and all that. So, the need comes often in the house to have people that are versed and that are knowledgeable in the writing of in legislative drafting, literally. So, and that is what I'll call legislative drafting.
All right, fair enough. So let's go to the topic for today. The National Assembly has no power to summon Buhari-Malami, who is the Attorney General of the Federation. Do the National Assembly really, constitutionally, has the power to summon the president to the National Assembly?
That's a straightforward question. In law, they will call it a leading question. And I will not answer it the way you have answered. I will reconstruct the question. Now, the question is it provided in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that owns the legislative house, be it the red chambers or the green chambers, calls on the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is obliged to go. Must he show, let me use that word unofficially, or is he, like the Attorney General puts it, is he inherent in his discretion to come? Now, Section 2.1, the learned Attorney General is a silk.
Who's a silk?
The silk is a senior advocate of Nigeria. They will tell them they belong to the inner bar. They are senior lawyers. So, the Attorney General said his opinion is based on Section 2.181, subsection 1. That's subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it says that the president has the power, or if I'm properly put, to determine or direct or whatever the operational use of the Nigerian Army. Operational being the major word there of the Nigerian Army. And he said that it does not behove on the president to answer any summon by the National Assembly. Now, Section 88 and 89, the combined reading of Section 88 and 89 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, says that the National Assembly can make laws, can summon anybody.
Anybody. Emphasis now.
To give evidence. Before it And again, Section 88 before Section 89, sorry. He said that the National Assembly can seize or cause to be an investigation into any matter by which it can make laws.
Okay.
Let me explain that.
Okay.
It's for the layman, it says for every matter that the National Assembly can make law, it can investigate.
Okay.
Obviously, the National Assembly can make laws virtually on all facets of our economy or of our life as a country. Now, if the Constitution is saying, I give the power to the National Assembly to summon anybody or cause an investigation into any circumstance or anything or any agency of government by which it can make law, I think the security of the country falls under that.
Okay.
And the president, we can't call the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria anybody, but then comes under a Nigerian. And by that, and again, we should not be, with due respect to the Attorney General, we should not always push to be politically correct at the expense of our nascent institutions. I'm a student of legislative studies and policy.
Okay.
And I know that the reason why we have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary is for separation of powers.
Sure.
And Professor Amdi, my lecturer, would say that one of the major reasons why we have the National Assembly is for oversight.
Okay.
Oversight in that the cultures of the Constitution itself does not put it in mind to vest the president with discretionary powers. Nobody can check him, he can make laws, whatever. If that's the case, then we live in a state of nature or in a dictatorial state. So where do you put the powers of the National Assembly for oversight? Who checks the president? And I think operational use of the Nigerian army, which the Constitution vests the power in the president, should actually come under this Section 88 and 89 as stated, that like I've explained before. So I do not support the Attorney General when he says it's the president's discretion. If he likes, if he does not like it, it would come to the president belongs or is a servant to all Nigerians. And the National Assembly is a conglomeration of all representatives of the people of Nigeria. So morally speaking, the president should not starve the people of vital information, quote unquote.
But considering the fact that it's a security issue, and I mean, security issue is a very, very sensitive issue. So do you think maybe that's why he's making this kind of statement? Because you understand what I'm trying to say. So,
if
considering how sensitive the security matters can be, yes,
we have elected representatives that we trust. With our collective mandates. And we have told them to invite the president. There are three choices here. They can have a closed door session with the president. Where vital state security informations are not leaked. Secondly, the authorities or the principal officers of the National Assembly can meet with the president. Thirdly, the president can actually sieve information based on the advice given to him by the service chiefs. I think that excuse is, I won't call it lame. I think it's a lazy excuse being bandied around. People are dying every day. Nobody is saying the president should come and tell Nigerians the next step or the next military intervention of the army. We're saying the president should give an update of what the country or what the leadership of the country is doing to stop this menace. So I do not think it's that excuse will hold.
Okay, but so somebody said for some quarters they said some when it comes to national security, we should drop the Constitution. So what's your take on that? Because again, I get your point, but again, I'm still insisting, considering how sensitive these issues are. Or does it have to do, maybe it's person sensitive, because some people argue that if there to be some other president, of course they will want to come. So maybe because of the reticent nature of our president, don't you think?
First of all, I would like to correct that.
Okay,
I think that is erroneous. There's no nation should jettison its ground norm. In law, we call the Constitution the ground norm. That's the basis of every other law. the absence of the constitution is the first thing in a military government. So when we seize, the first thing every military government does is to seize or put an embargo on the constitution and they use decrees. So when we have a democratic system without the constitution, what are we saying? That means we have a pseudo military government in place. And I do not think we should seize the constitution for anything.
So moving forward now, okay,
moving forward,
yes.
I think this issue goes beyond the president addressing the people.
Yes, please.
I think one of the major issues is the fact that Nigerians have been starved of vital information. Mr. Segun Showumi said in one of the fora, and he said, and I believe what he said, I think I'll go with his line of argument. He said, the president's speech alone, the president's speech of hope can actually calm free nerves alone. Just a speech alone can actually do some, what can I call it? Can actually make it
calm some nerves,
you know. But then when we have a situation where we just use the president's body language, that what people are saying about him, statements that are mostly insensitive from the presidency, I think it's largely unfair. I sincerely think it's largely unfair.
Okay. So now, do we as a people demand for, because with what you've just said now, is there any space or in any place where, in this case, have to take it to the court, to the Supreme Court?
All right.
At what point do we have to invite the Supreme Court to this particular issue?
Constitutionally.
Okay, please.
The Constitution has already provided that when there's an issue between the National Assembly or the executive and the judicial and the legislative arm of government, the Supreme Court can give interpretations.
Okay.
My problem is this issue did not start from the Buhari government.
Okay.
The president has been in this country and has been invited by the House of the National Assembly.
Which president was that?
President Jonathan.
Okay, please.
And he didn't honor the invitation.
Okay.
For a different reason.
Okay.
I think by now, learned silks and people that are learned from the executive should have approached the Supreme Court for interpretations of this particular section.
Okay.
Enough of bandying words on newspaper. Let's get a very, very, very explicit interpretation from the Lord Justices of the Supreme Court on why, or is it clearly illegal or legal for the president to say he's not coming to the National Assembly, or it's just, as the Attorney General will call it, inherently discretionary, the power to or the will to appear before the National Assembly.
Okay.
I would also like to state
please,
that in the Constitution actually said that the president may, there's a part where he said the president may sometimes, I think, appear before the National Assembly to give State of the Nation address and all that. But then may is actually discretionary.
Yes.
However, the same section of the Constitution says a minister shall answer to the summon of the National Assembly.
Yes.
That's by the side. For me, I think enough of legal gymnasium.
Okay.
I think we should have a constitutional or a judicial interpretations to the words of the Constitution.
Okay.
These are conflicting sections of the Constitution that are subject to different interpretations.
Yes.
My interpretation might be different from yours.
Sure.
You're a lawyer. So we should not descend into a constitutional crisis. And what can forestall this is the Supreme Court in this case. And by now, I think we should be there for interpretation. That's really my recommendation.
Okay. So now let's marry this with your discussion, with the discuss with the recent abducted children in Katsina. So at this point now, do you think the National Assembly should have a case for the president to really, really address them out by so doing addressing us as well?
I think saying it's long overdue is like overstating the obvious.
Okay.
We've had farmers slaughtered on their farms. Sure. We've had people kidnapped. It's not even about kidnapping the elites now. We've had people kidnapped in mosques and places of worship. Now kids in school are being kidnapped.
Exactly.
aside addressing the National Assembly, I think over time, the National Assembly has made resolutions that the president should actually change the service chiefs, Nigerians from different angles, eminently placed Nigerians have said the president should remove the service chief, let's have fresh bloods and all that. But I wouldn't want to use the word complacent, but the president in his wisdom has chosen to leave them. I think what we are experiencing is a very clear attitude of taking the Nigerian people for granted.
Oh, wow.
The welfare and security of the people shall be the primary purpose of government.
True.
It is stated in this same constitution. But then it doesn't seem like so anymore.
Okay.
So we have to beg the president to address us. We have to beg the president to fix security. We have to beg the president by resolution. But nothing is being done, literally.
Okay.
So are you saying now that I wouldn't want to use some words, but an administration that's constantly flaunted some sections of the constitution would listen to a National Assembly that's consistently passed resolutions that have been disobeyed?
Okay. And again, some persons from some quarters will say that we have committee on defense. So why not these committees invite the service chiefs for?
The last time I counted, I think the committees have invited service chiefs for more than 3 times.
Okay.
They keep giving their closed door meetings, in their wisdom. I'm not privy to the resolutions though, but the service chief have appeared in the house for like 3 times. There was a time the service chief sent representatives and they were sent back. They came in person, but nothing has changed really. There has been calls by even persons from the ruling party that the president should change the service chiefs. But then recently, last week, the bandits came to the president's state
backyard
when he was around, and they took school kids. And have you heard anything from the presidency? From the president? Nothing. So the impunity is really, it runs deep. It really runs deep, sincerely.
So again, I know I've asked question before. Again, finally, what do you think? Do you think it's something we need to amend that section of the Constitution, or do you think so? Moving forward, again, in conclusion, please. What do you?
I personally do not subscribe. I personally do not subscribe to the constant call for constitutional amendment.
Okay. Okay, please.
I think this particular,
because sorry, why I said that is from what you just said. Anybody. Right. So some people will still argue that they weren't specific. Right. It wasn't okay on security matters. Right. So is it something we need to amend the Constitution so it's for it to be specific?
I think first of all, we need an interpretation to these conflicting sections. Sections of the Constitution. Because it has constantly happened. You know, this kind of episode has constantly featured in our national life. The past government and the current government. And again, you know, we need to fix this once and for all. We need to have precedents. So when subsequent government does this, they can be probably sued, you know, and people have a proper legal ground to stand on. So when some Messians are saying, oh, the president cannot be subject to any investigation or cannot be summoned because of Section 67, subsection 1, and all that. And some are relying on Section 89 and 88 of the Constitution, and the SGF is relying on Section 218 of the Constitution. I think the most powerful arbiter here is the Supreme Court of Nigeria. It's enough. The old newspaper banding words around, Leonard Six throwing words at each other. I think by now, the National Assembly should have approached the Apex Court for interpretations into this section. So we have a pronouncement from the Apex Court to be followed by subsequent governments. I think that is my own recommendation. And again,
please.
The House of Reps and the Senate, sorry, the combined House of National Assembly would have to fix their backyard. You know, recently the Senate literally disowned the House of Representatives. And they said
exactly. So there's there's no unionism between
You know, a house that is divided against itself. So if the Senate is saying they are not calling the president, and the House of Representatives saying they are calling the president, it depicts a house that is polarized against itself. So they won't even be taken serious. I would actually go, I wouldn't state here, but I'll actually go with a part of the house. But then I think the leadership of the Senate and the leadership of the House of Representatives would have to come on behalf of the Nigerian people with a common front. This is what we want. I think it's more powerful that way. I think they'll be taken more serious that way. But the continued polarization and all that is really needless. They are not doing the Nigerian people any good by that.
Wow. So a fair place to end this conversation today. Barrister Bobin, thank you very much for coming. So please, we want you to be a regular face on this, on legal discourse like this. So thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate your presence. So on this note, we want to end this conversation. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe and the bell button to notify of our future episode. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next time. Bye-bye.